I want to speak to you today about God's purpose for the family. I'm going to begin to have a number of devotions beginning at this point about the family. And I believe the family life is very, very important for us. And God has a purpose for families. And first of all, we need to understand God's ultimate purpose. When I came to know Christ, one of the first things that happened in my life was that I found purpose and meaning. And what was that purpose, or what is that purpose and meaning? The purpose of God for our lives is to love God with all of our hearts, all of our mind, all of our soul, and to love our neighbor as ourselves. That's the purpose of life. And so when we do those two things, we do what God created us to do. Now, when God created man, He didn't create him alone, all by himself. He created man and woman, and He gave the two who were different, but two who were alike. And He put them together, and the two became one, male and female. And that was the marriage relationship. They became one, and they began to multiply. And we find that God's plan for the world was through this multiplication through the family. He wanted the whole earth to be filled with people who knew Him, who loved Him, who walked with Him. In fact, that's what He told Abraham when He told him that He was going to build a great nation. He said, I will multiply your seed. And so God's plan was that man would fill this world. Now, we know that man didn't do that. We know that man sinned. All of us have sinned. We've all gone our own way. And consequently, we don't know that plan. And that's why Jesus Christ came and died for us. And that's why when we get to know Him, we begin to do what He created us to do. And one of the things that happens is that God places every one of us in the context of a family. And it's in the context of that family that we learn not only how to love God, but how to love other people. And God gave me a wife, and she's wonderful, the most wonderful person I've ever met. But I can tell you, we have our differences. And God has taught me how to love her, how to love my children. And it's in the context of that family that we not only learn to love God, but we learn to love one another. So, is there someone that God has placed in your life that He's teaching you to love others? He gives us families. And you say, well, I'm an orphan, or I've never been married. Listen, God wants you about His ultimate purpose. And what is it? Loving Him and loving others. And if you don't have a husband, if you don't have parents that you know, you still need to love Him and love others. That's what it's all about. That's His purpose. And those of us who do have families, He's teaching us how to do that through those who are our closest neighbors. That's our wife, our husband, our children, our parents, whoever it might be in the context of your family. So learn to love God and to love others, and you will fulfill His purpose.